The New Mexico sun beat down on a crowd brimming with passionate energy. It was April 5, 2025, and the Santa Fe air crackled with a potent mix of anger, defiance, and hope. A sea of nearly 2,000 people had converged upon the state capitol, transforming the seat of power into a vibrant tapestry of protest. They had answered the call, adding their voices to the global hands-off demonstrations erupting from Trafalgar Square to Taos. Signs held high, some hand-painted, others professionally printed, bore messages of resistance. Dump Trump, protect our future, hands off our rights. The atmosphere hummed with a sense of urgency. The crowd, a microcosm of America's diversity, stood united against the policies of the Trump administration. They were students worried about their futures, families fearful of separation, teachers grappling with budget cuts, and environmental activists alarmed by the planet's plight. This wasn't just a protest, it was a collective outcry, a resounding declaration that the people would not stand idly by as their rights and freedoms were eroded. The scent of incense wafted through the air, a symbolic cleansing of the negativity that had come to define the political climate. Giant puppets, crafted by the activist group Wise Fool New Mexico, towered above the crowd, their exaggerated features mocking the absurdity of the policies they were protesting. The puppets, a whimsical yet powerful form of expression, served as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, humor and creativity could be potent tools of resistance. The hands-off protest in Santa Fe was a testament to the power of collective action. It was a space where anxieties transformed into shared purpose, where frustration fueled a collective demand for change. The presence of children, their faces full of innocent determination, underscored the intergenerational impact of the issues at stake. This wasn't just about the present, it was about safeguarding the future, about ensuring that the America they inherited was one built on justice, equality, and opportunity for all. The grievances against the Trump administration were as numerous as the individuals gathered on the Capitol grounds. Like a hydra, each policy seemed to spawn a new head of dissent. Tariffs, deemed economically devastating by many, were a point of contention. The newly established Department of Government Efficiency, viewed with suspicion and fear, drew ire for its mass firings and perceived attack on the public sector. Trump's foreign policy, often criticized for its unpredictability and perceived disregard for diplomacy, was a source of anxiety for many. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine weighed heavily on their minds, a stark reminder of the global ramifications of American foreign policy decisions. The case of Luigi Mangione, accused of the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, became a lightning rod for criticism, with some alleging it was a symptom of an administration that fostered division and violence. But the grievances extended far beyond specific policies. They struck at the very heart of American values and principles. The pervasive sense was that the Trump administration had fostered a climate of fear and division, undermining the very fabric of American society. His rhetoric, often laced with bigotry and intolerance, had emboldened extremist elements, creating a climate of fear and uncertainty for marginalized communities. The protest was a resounding rejection of this toxic atmosphere. It was a declaration that America, at its core, was a nation built on diversity and inclusivity, a place where all people, regardless of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation, deserved respect and equal treatment under the law. The hands-off chants that echoed through the Capitol grounds were not just directed at Trump himself, they were a message to those who enabled him, a demand for accountability, and a return to the principles of justice and equality upon which the nation was founded. The hands-off protest was not just a space for shared outrage. It was a platform for diverse voices to articulate the multifaceted ways in which the Trump administration's policies were impacting their lives. A roster of speakers, each representing a different facet of American society, took to the stage, their words amplified by the collective energy of the crowd. Heidi Feldman, a Georgetown law professor, delivered a scathing indictment of what she termed Trump's assaults on the rule of law. She cited his administration's interference with congressional funding, their resistance to judicial orders, their disregard for civil rights, and their attempts to suppress the legal profession as evidence of a blatant disregard for the very foundation of American democracy. Her words resonated with many in the legal community who felt that the principles of justice and accountability were under attack. Jessica Aguirre, an immigration lawyer, spoke with a mix of anger and heartbreak as she described the human cost of Trump's immigration policies. She spoke of families torn apart, of children living in fear, and of the chilling effect the administration's rhetoric had on immigrant communities across the country. Her words served as a stark reminder that behind the policy debates were real lives, real families, and real dreams under threat. Alana Cartier, president of the National Education Association of Santa Fe, addressed the devastating impact of education funding cuts on public schools. She spoke of teachers forced to dig into their own pockets to provide basic supplies, of overcrowded classrooms, and of the elimination of vital programs that disproportionately impacted low-income students and students of color. Her words resonated with the many teachers and parents in the crowd who were witnessing firsthand the erosion of public education. Garrett Van Clayson, executive director of the New Mexico Wildlife Federation, sounded the alarm on the Trump administration's environmental policies. He spoke out against the push to sell off public lands to private interests, the rollback of environmental regulations, and the administration's denial of climate change. He warned of the dire consequences for New Mexico's fragile ecosystem, particularly in light of the looming threat of wildfires. Bianca Sopoci Belknap, co-director of Earth Care, echoed Vinniclassen's concerns, linking the environmental crisis to broader issues of corporate greed and political corruption. She criticized both the Trump administration and the Democratic Party for their ties to corporate interests, arguing that both parties had failed to adequately address the climate crisis. She highlighted the irony of Earth Care losing a $500,000 federal grant to study air quality due to the Trump administration's opposition to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, arguing that environmental justice was intrinsically linked to social justice. As the day wore on and the sun began its descent, a sense of cautious optimism settled over the crowd. The hands-off protest had been a powerful display of unity and resistance, a testament to the enduring belief in the power of collective action. The diverse tapestry of speakers, each with their own story of struggle and resilience, had woven together a powerful narrative of resistance against a common adversary. Congresswoman Teresa Leger Fernandez, echoing the sentiments expressed at her recent town hall, urged the crowd to maintain their activism. She stressed the importance of making their voices heard, not just through protests, but through phone calls, letters, and town hall meetings. She reminded them that even in the face of a seemingly insurmountable challenge, a small shift in political will could make all the difference. The protest was a stark reminder that democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires active participation, a willingness to speak truth to power, and a commitment to holding elected officials accountable. The hands-off message resonated far beyond the Capitol grounds, serving as a beacon of hope for those fighting for justice and equality across the country and around the world. The fight was far from over, but the spirit of Santa Fe's hands-off protest offered a powerful antidote to the cynicism and despair that often pervade our political discourse. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit, fueled by a collective yearning for a more just and equitable world, has the power to ignite change.